For all the players and the evil investors out there for Magic the Gathering, it looks like we're almost at the bottom. I remember that line in Transformers. Optimus Prime says, "One shall rise, one shall fall." Welcome back, everyone. MTG Moxman here, and thanks again for hanging out with me on the channel today. Thanks for being here. Hope you're having a great day wherever you are in the world of Magic, because sometimes bleak news like this has a silver lining for certain people out there, and that is the prices are really low. This is a Hot 10 video where I show you the hottest sales going on in the reserve list, and they're pretty bad. And when you look at the prices year over year, man, these things look like they're on fire sale right now. But I'm surprised by some of the sales we're seeing this week. These aren't the cards I expected to be here at all. And I had to go through a lot of cards this week, actually a lot more, way more than I normally would do to find sales. This is right after Christmas holidays. We're all getting ready to get back into a regular work cycle. And the sales are low. People have spent their money. They're waiting for like income tax checks now. You know, the new year has started. And these sales are really low. But the cards selling and the people going after like near mint condition cards at these new low prices, I find a little peculiar, a little bit different. Because these aren't the cards I would expect to see selling unless, well, we'll get to that. We'll get to that. Okay, so let's check out the hottest cards in Magic. We'll start off at number 10, go to number 1. Follow me down the yellow brick road together, because this is where Magic conversation lives. Let's check this out. So our first card is Bubble Matrix from Weatherlight at number 10 with 16 sales. That's not a lot of sales for the number 10 card. But what's interesting, when we take a look at that market price of $6.02, you can see the price is totally tanked down from its high of $25. This is a generic casting cost card for generic mana. All damage dealt to creatures is reduced to 0. So depending on the deck you're building, the purpose for having a card like this in there can just be ingenious. If you need major game effects to go off later on, and you don't want your creatures to die, to damage, to blocking, say you want to keep your Urza alive until you get your Meekstone, Mightstone, Weakstone thing out there, you see like those kind of cards can have some purpose. But what's interesting to me is the people buying this card, they went for near mint, all of them. Because this may be the market value you're seeing, but on TCG Player, this card's like $3. That means a playset of 4 lightly played is $12 US when a single copy used to be $25 and was selling at that for quite a while. Months went by and this card sold anywhere from $25 to like $18 before it really tanked down and had no sales at all. So be aware of this, because if somebody's buying, let's just say they spend $100 and they buy, I don't know, 20, 30 copies. It's all that risk reward we talk about, the upside, the downside on cards like this. If this card ever goes back up and finds more purpose or more uses, or players like it again and want to buy copies to use, somebody who bought that many copies this cheap and got in at that bottom floor can really stand to make a lot of money later on, even selling it at a discount at a higher rate. There's a lot of people out there who will tell you when the market's down, it's when you should be buying. Now, this is a time when people are really anti-Magic right now for stuff like this, and I get it. But prices like this just really can't be ignored. So I want to at least lay it out there so people understand where other people might be coming from. Now, number 9 is Badlands. 17 sales, market price $404.37 US. This card is still trending down, starting to go sideways now. Sales, of course, are lower, but this is a very expensive card. You're still talking thousands and thousands of dollars. A lot of people buying this card are not going for near mint. We've talked about this the last couple of weeks. A lot of the sales in dual lands from the revised era are all moderate to heavily played. There's cards I can't even list because the sales are too low, but it's a weekly period of 7 days. So every dual land that I check on sold more than 7 copies, okay? Every single one. So it's still tens of thousands of dollars. It just doesn't make the Hot 10 down the yellow brick road here. But in speaking of Magic conversations, you guys need to be aware of this, because if you have copies of this card and you want to make some liquidity happen, dual lands will give you liquid money. People will pay for them at the right price. So take a look out there. But in the long term, I still say hold these cards because they're never coming back around again. We talked about that in the video the other day. It's just something to be aware of because it's a crazy thing that's happening. Goblin Wizard, same thing. after that video from the Taco King, where it showed the dark pack being opened, I've opened one of these on the channel as well. You can look back hundreds of videos ago, you'll find that. And when you look at this and you see the Goblin Wizard pack fresh, people realize the card's going for $40, moderately played, and those are the copies being sold. TCG Player, guys. And by the way, if you're shopping on TCG Player, please use my affiliate link. You can just find it in the description of every video I make. Click on the link, takes you to TCG Player, and anything you buy there gives me a kickback on the channel of about 3.5%. So thank you very much, guys, who take the time to do that. It really does help the channel out and allow me to get some cards. But I look at this and say, this is what people are doing. They're just getting these because they want to play with them. They want them for commander decks, for goblin builds, and it's never been cheaper. But a few of the people buying these are buying play sets of 4. Locally, 8 of them sold. From a couple of my local people I speak with, 8, which is all along. And then you got TCG Player and a few other places I check. This is interesting data to see happening, that the players seeking these cards are going for those. And here we are. Taiga, same thing. Yeah, I know I'm pronouncing it right. I practice all the time, guys. 21 sales this week. Market price $375.10. But here's the funny thing. You can get this card locally in Canadian dollars for about $300. Heavily played. And those are the copies, again, that we're talking about. Like Badlands, these are the ones that are selling. This just happens to have a higher sales record. But these are the prices you've always got to keep in mind. All right, Willow Priestess, again, bottom of the barrel. Look at the price. Had a little bump late 2022. They had a little tiny mini buyout toward before the 30th anniversary announcement, right when they announced Eldraine was coming back, because this thing affects all of our beautiful fairies, right? Willow Priestess is very typical and says, hey, take a fairy from your hand, put it directly into play. So think about like the fairy formation, that like 5 and 6 casting cost fairies. This thing pops them out on a dime. And then target green creature gains protection from black as like an added bonus effect that doesn't cost you anything except for 1 green, 2 other, and you can do it to multiple creatures at the last moment to save them. So a lot of kill spells don't work. And this card, the market price says $771, TCG Player $249, moderately played. A near mint condition one, $498 US. Guys, these market prices aren't matching up the same as TCG Player for players trying to sell these cards. Keep that stuff in mind. If you need a copy, I see why people are buying the near mint, and that's what happened here. Whole play sets of near mint are the ones that are being bought, and you know, it's in the anticipation of what's going to happen with Eldraine. I did that video months ago when they did the announcement. Fairy Noble, Willow Priestess will have sales, because if they give us some unique fairies that can build on tribal, that's where things are going to go. You can't ignore those things. That's what people are doing. Now, Lake of the Dead, still here with 26 sales this week. Market price is $91.07, trending sideways now. And the market idea for this, last week it was number 1. So of course the sales trended up, but people who saw my video may have decided to pick up copies a little bit late to the game, but said, hey, it's a good price, like $52, moderately played, I'm buying a copy. And that's what happened here. A lot of moderately played copies got bought, a few local as well. Interesting to see this card still hanging in there. Usually I'm used to seeing Fork, Brain Geyser, always here in the hot 10. None of those cards have been here. We don't have Thrill Champion, we don't have Soldevi Excavations. I wish we did, but they're not the cards people are buying. People are buying these moderately played. Oh, wait, we have Jester's Mask here. Hold on, we got to talk about this. Okay, Jester's Mask. Now, I saw a match, I guess it was during Christmas break. Somebody was using this, okay? So let me explain. Let's take a look here. It was in a Commander game, by the way. It's a 5 casting cost and it comes into play tapped. 1, sacrifice Jester's Mask to look through target opponent's hand and library. Give that player a new hand of as many cards as he or she had before. Reshuffle the remaining cards afterwards. Well, the guy was about, like a player was about to die. And this guy was obviously dominating the battlefield. So what this other player did, he had Teferi, who sets the sun, like slows the sunset. You can untap things. So he like untaps the Jester's Mask, uses it right away after he casts it, and then goes ahead and like gives this guy who's about to be wiped out like the perfect hand of everything he needs to stay alive. The guy goes, why are you doing this? He goes, so I don't die the next turn. And he just manipulated the opponent he needed to have live to make sure the opponent had everything to deal with what this one guy was like just monopolizing the battlefield. Every kill spell possible he needed to like dominate the game for a turn or two was now in his hand, like 5 brand new cards. Very cool to see it had, and I hadn't seen it played that way before, but it was interesting to see it actually in a game. And the guy's like, I paid like $2. So when I go ahead and look, sure enough, this market says $437. This card's been as high as $20, and there's like 29 sales, but 3/4 of these are near mint for like $1.50, $2. So $2 US for a near mint when this thing used to be $7, $8 for moderately played. It's obviously attracting some players who just said, hey, it's a reserve list card. I can get a near mint copy of Ice Age. Even though it has a massive print run, I don't care. I like the card. I'm going to buy it. 29 sales. I did not expect to see a card like this here, but when I was searching, this is what I found. Now, number 3, another oddball card to be this time of year selling is Sustaining Spirit from Alliances. 30 sales. Average price is $1.49 on the market here. Like, it's not horrible, but you can find these on TCG Player for 90 cents or less. Okay? Moderately played, I think, is 57 cents. If you look at Sustaining Spirit, 1 white, 1 other. Cumulative upkeep of 1 white, 1 other. Any damage that would reduce your life total to less than 1 reduces it to 1 instead. It's like Alley of Cairo or all those kind of cards that keep you alive when you're about to die. Very cool, and used, I guess, in some white construction decks now. Not the worst type of card for a late game, hey, Hail Mary, save me, I'm alive. And there's ways of like unsummoning it, bringing it back, and not having to keep up with that cumulative upkeep. Makes it very nice. A very good card to have around, I guess, for certain people who are playing a more casual style of Commander. So I just wanted to mention that. It's kind of interesting to see this card here, but hey, why not? Let's get to number 2. We're all the way down to number 2 already, and this is Thawing Glaciers. 35 sales this week. Market price is $21.58, but if you look again, TCG Player, and I checked locally. Locally was actually expensive. Here in Toronto, Ontario, right? Canada, we've got that same card going for about 25 bucks Canadian, but on TCG Player, it was like $17 and some change for lightly played. But here's the winch. If you really want to get this card, and you want to get some style, then you're going to go for the Judge promo. They did a Judge promo, even though it's reserve list. Think about like Wheel of Fortune Judge promo. It's like, it was like a super expensive card. Well, Thawing Glaciers Judge promo is only like $120 Canadian. It's like $90 US on TCG Player. So if you're looking for this card and you have some bucks to spend, I do recommend getting the more expensive copy because it's more unique. It's more like, stylish, and the art's nice. But of course, I do have a couple of playsets of the original Thawing Glaciers here from Alliances, and the price is right. $17 and some change for lightly played. Crazy to see this card in landfall decks and in commander decks, just thinning out your deck to get some basic land every other turn. Love the card, like the playability of it. I have it in a few of my commander decks now, and yeah, it's been okay. I haven't drawn it as often as I'd like to see if it comes up, but it's still a decent card. So let's go ahead. Let's take a look at the number 1 card this week, and that is Kil'jaeden Outpost, Alliances. And I think I know what's going on here. 38 sales, still not high, guys, low. A lot of the reserve list cards are very low in sales right now across the board. Market price is $14.43, but the interesting thing about that is moderately played cards are $6, right? So if we go ahead and somebody just wants to buy a card, and let's take a closer look at it here. When you look at this card, it says it comes into play, yada, yada, you got to sacrifice a plains or bury it, but it's the secondary ability. 1 white, 1 other, put a soldier token into play. And I've noticed a lot of soldier cards lately, and that has driven some people to seek this card out when they're building these kind of fun commander decks and they want to put more soldiers in play. They're going to go for cards like this. The Kil'jaeden Outpost does say soldier, and with King Darius and all the new soldier cards we got in the last couple of sets, including Brothers War, it's really added that little bit of style for players saying, I really want to get my hands. I want to get my hands on those style of cards, and I understand that. When they're this cheap, why not? You can get 4 outposts there for like $30. That's pretty crazy. It's a pretty good deal right now because we're near that. When you look at the financial side of Magic right now, it hasn't been this low in a very long time. And players who have means, players who are stable in their income levels and have some money to throw at this kind of stuff can really have their pick of the litter on so many cards right now. There are so many cards that are so inexpensive that used to be $20, $30, $40 cards. I checked cards like Peacekeeper. You can get that card for like $20 now. I think I paid 50 Canadian for mine. These are like $25 Canadian now. Peacekeeper, Creatures Can't Attack from Weatherlight. There are some really crazy deals. They may not have a lot of sales yet, but these are cards, when I do a card watch video next week, we might see some of these cards come up because I think the price are a little too good to pass up on right now. So it's that area of the market you're like, when it's this low, this is the time to start picking up some cards. It's like a fire sale. If you believe in the longevity of a card and you think it's going to be great, or you want to use it, or you've always thought about using it in a deck, These are the times to buy those things if you have the means to do so. Anyway, thanks for hanging out. Thanks for being here today. You went down the walk with me. We strolled down the yellow brick road on our way to the Emerald Kingdom. And we said, as we talked about Magic, we said, that was the #1 card. That was number 10. What is going on in the world of Magic right now? Prices are low. Sales are low. And as players look for money, they want liquidity. They want to get some cash out now. They're taking what they can get. And you can wait to get the best price possible. Thanks for hanging out, guys. Thanks for being here. Can't wait to see those comments in the comments section. And of course, I'll see you tomorrow for another exciting video. Have a great day today, guys. I'll see you tomorrow. Hey guys, a big shout out and thank you to all the wonderful patrons on this channel. Without their patronage of my channel supporting the content I create, it wouldn't be possible. So thanks again for everyone who steps up and helps out the channel. I appreciate each and every one of you. You thought I forgot about you. I didn't forget. I'm here. I'm standing tall. But you know what? It's a good day. When prices are this low, I know it hurts for people who like bought at the highs, but if you're not selling, you haven't lost anything yet. It's only when you sell, you lose. So if you can afford to wait, like I checked, I think it was 401 games here in Toronto, and somebody turned in a whole whack load of lightly played and moderately played Soldevi excavations, and it wasn't me. But we're talking like 30 copies, give or take, but they priced it wrong. It's too expensive. You can get it cheaper on TCG Player. But somebody's been turning this stuff in. I'm like, they probably got half the value. They probably got like $8, $9 a card. That hurts selling at those levels when you know some people paid $40 for Soldevi excavations at one point. The sales reach those levels, guys. If you can hang in for the long term, that's how you should be thinking. If you need liquidity, you have to take what you can get. But hey, thanks for hanging out, man. Thanks for being here. And we'll see you soon. We got a live stream tonight. I'll see you then. Don't worry, I'll be there. I'll be there live stream. And maybe I'll get the sound right this time. Oh, you're here at the end of the video, like the end? All right. We can put birthday cake in the comment section. Why not?